Right now, somewhere above you, hundreds of metal tubes are hurtling through the sky at nearly 900 kilometers per hour. Some weigh as much as 560 tons. That's heavier than 80 elephants. And yet they stay up there effortlessly for hours at a time. No strings, no magic, just science. But here's the thing. Most people have no idea how a plane actually flies. And honestly, once you understand it, you'll never look at the sky the same way again. Before we talk about flight, let's talk about the machine itself. An airplane is, at its core, a carefully engineered system designed to conquer one of nature's most powerful forces, gravity. Every single part of a plane has a job. The fuselage, that long central body, carries passengers, cargo, and fuel. It's designed to be as aerodynamic as possible, cutting through air with minimal resistance. The wings, the most important part of any aircraft, stretch out to generate lift. We'll get to exactly how in a moment. The tail section with its vertical and horizontal stabilizers keeps the aircraft pointed in the right direction. Think of it like the feathers on an arrow. And then there are the engines. On most modern commercial jets, you'll see 2 or 4 turbofan engines mounted under the wings. Their job? Pure, raw thrust, pushing the aircraft forward fast enough for the wings to do their magic. Now here's where it gets beautiful. Every aircraft that has ever flown, from the Wright brothers' fragile 1903 biplane to a modern Airbus A380, is governed by exactly 4 forces. 4 invisible hands that are constantly pushing and pulling on the plane. They are lift, weight, thrust, and drag. Let's take them one by one. Lift is the force that gets a plane off the ground and keeps it there. It acts upward, perpendicular to the direction of flight. It's created almost entirely by the wings. And here's the clever part. The wings are not flat. They have a special curved shape called an airfoil, rounded on top, flatter underneath. As the plane moves forward, air splits at the leading edge of the wing. The air traveling over the curved top has to move faster to meet the air coming underneath. Faster moving air creates lower pressure, so the pressure above the wing drops, and the higher pressure below the wing pushes upward. That upward push is lift. This principle was described by Swiss mathematician Daniel Bernoulli back in the 1700s, and it's still the foundation of modern aviation. Weight is simple. It's gravity pulling everything toward Earth. Every kilogram of aircraft, fuel, luggage, and passenger pulls downward. For a plane to fly, lift must be strong enough to overcome this force entirely. Thrust is the forward force, the muscle of flight. Without speed, the wings can't generate lift. Without thrust, there's no speed. Jet engines generate thrust by pulling enormous amounts of air into the front, compressing it, mixing it with fuel, igniting it, and blasting the hot exhaust out the back. By Newton's third law, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That backward blast pushes the plane forward with tremendous force. Interestingly, the engines aren't lifting the plane. The wings are doing that. The engines simply create the speed that makes the wings work. And then there's drag, air resistance. Every surface of the plane that touches air creates friction and pressure that pushes back against forward motion. Engineers spend billions of dollars designing shapes that minimize drag. Smooth fuselages, swept back wings, even tiny winglets at the wingtip that reduce swirling turbulence. So what actually happens during takeoff? The pilot pushes the throttles forward. The engines roar to life, producing massive thrust. The plane accelerates down the runway, faster, faster, until it reaches what pilots call rotation speed, or VR. At that moment, the pilot gently pulls back on the controls. The nose lifts. The angle of the wings increases, what engineers call the angle of attack, and this extra tilt generates even more lift. And then, that magical moment, the wheels leave the ground. All that weight, all that metal, all those people, defying gravity at 280 kilometers per hour. As the plane climbs, the pilot retracts the landing gear to reduce drag. Adjust the wing flaps that help generate extra low-speed lift on the ground, and the aircraft settles into its climb toward cruising altitude. At cruising altitude, typically between 9,000 and 12,000 meters, something elegant happens. The four forces reach perfect balance. Lift equals weight. Thrust equals drag. The plane isn't climbing or descending, speeding up or slowing down. It's in equilibrium, slicing through the stratosphere like it belongs there. Up here, the air is thin, about a third the density of air at sea level. That sounds like a problem for lift, but planes compensate by flying faster and maintaining pressurized cabins for the passengers. The temperature outside might be minus 60 degrees Celsius. The plane's aluminum and composite skin flexes with every air current. The wings, which can bend up to several meters on large aircraft, absorb the turbulence you feel inside. Meanwhile, the autopilot system, a marvel of modern computing, makes thousands of tiny adjustments every second to keep the plane on course. A plane doesn't just go forward. It turns, climbs, descends, and rolls. How? Through control surfaces, movable panels built into the wings and tail that redirect airflow. The ailerons on the outer trailing edge of each wing work in opposite directions. Bank right, and the right aileron rises, while the left drops, creating uneven lift that rolls the plane. The elevators on the horizontal tail control pitch, nose up or nose down. The rudder on the vertical tail handles yaw, the left-right swivel. It's used mainly to coordinate turns and counter the effects of crosswinds. In modern fly-by-wire aircraft, like the Airbus A320 or Boeing 787, there are no direct mechanical links between the pilot's controls and these surfaces. Computers interpret the pilot's inputs and send electronic signals. The plane's flight control computer even prevents the pilot from accidentally exceeding safe limits. And then comes landing, arguably the most complex phase of any flight. The plane begins its descent. Engines are throttled back. The nose dips. Drag, now an ally, helps slow the aircraft down. The pilot extends the flaps, large panels on the wings that increase lift at low speeds, allowing the plane to fly slowly enough to land safely. The landing gear drops with a familiar mechanical thud. The approach requires extraordinary precision. The plane is descending at roughly 3 degrees, a glide path that brings it across the runway threshold at just the right height and speed. At the moment of touchdown, the pilot flares, pulling back slightly to arrest the descent rate. The main wheels kiss the runway. Thrust reversers on the engines roar, directing engine exhaust forward. Spoilers pop up on the wings to destroy lift and press the wheels firmly onto the ground. Brakes engage, and in less than 2 kilometers, a 500-ton machine decelerates from 250 kilometers per hour to taxi speed. For most of human history, flight was a dream. Ancient myths were full of it. Icarus flying too close to the sun, Da Vinci sketching flying machines by candlelight. And then, on December 17th, 1903, 2 bicycle mechanics from Ohio changed everything. Orville and Wilbur Wright flew for just 12 seconds. 36 meters, barely the length of a bus. Today, more than 100,000 flights take off every single day around the world. In a single year, aviation carries over 4 billion people across continents and oceans. Safely, efficiently, routinely. The next time you sit in that seat, feel the rumble of the engines and watch the ground fall away below you, take a moment to appreciate it. 4 forces, 1 elegant machine, and a sky full of possibility. If you've ever wondered about the science behind the world around you, you're in the right place. Subscribe for more videos that turn complex ideas into moments of wonder.